As you're working through the upcoming exercise, I'm confident that you'll find yourself in a scenario where you took a few steps and you don't like the way things look, and you find yourself in kind of what I'll call repair mode, meaning you're trying to backpedal your steps. And while a Command or Control Z will undo steps that you've taken, sometimes you have to move forward and you can't move backward. So I'm going to freestyle just a few repair techniques, and in doing so might show you a bit of, well, they're not really tools, but they are methods for helping clean up your work. So I have what looks like an abstract building collection of blocks here, and I've done a few things. I made a wild knife cut that isn't clean. It's not even, it's not anything I want to keep. I also deleted a face up at the top, a face that I want to repair and restore. And I made a wild bevel operation that created some really unclean geometry. And while if I render it, it probably will look okay, I know in my heart that these weird zagged lines and this extra block that's there, they simply just don't need to be there. So I'm going to step through this. Like I said before, this is a bit of a freestyle, so I will be talking through some of my steps and showing a few techniques for cleanup. The first is getting rid of these pesky knife lines. So I'm going to get rid of these maybe a few ways. The first of which is to make sure I'm in edge mode, because after all, the edge is really what's the problem. It's not the polygons, the faces, the vertices. It's really these edge loops that are the issue. I can hold Alt and it'll select the entire edge loop for me when I click on it, which is really helpful and convenient. Now I could right click and choose to delete edges. And if I delete edges, everything goes away. Not the best look. I could right click and choose to dissolve edges. And when I dissolve edges, it's a much more favorable result. So that's something I want you to notice. Deleting is not always best. There is a second option that's called dissolve, and that kind of like dissolves them and merges everything else around. Delete simply makes it go away, and whatever else has to go away around it will. So I do like trying dissolve first. That definitely gets me a clean look. However, what if I did want this cut? I just wanted it cleaned up. The way that I do that, I find it fastest, is to get the scale tool out. And with the scale tool, I'm going to shrink these edges in a way, but it's going to shrink it on a single axis. And when I do that, if I'm careful enough, it's going to snap if I hold the shift key. At some point, there we go. Do you see the snap? There. It snaps flat. No shift key was needed after all. Right click, Alt click, use the scale, and wait for the snap. There should be a snap in there. Same thing. Maybe I will grab that shift key after all. So doing that, actually, if I wanted to keep my lines, I just want them straight, I can use that scale and hold the shift key to actually get that snap to occur. So maybe I don't want those lines, maybe the knife tool was terrible. I can select that loop and choose dissolve to get rid of those lines. Or I can use the scale tool and get a very clean look after all. Let's say I was wanting to use this to what am I thinking? Maybe make like an inset door or something, or a window. Maybe I did want those edge pieces there. So let's kind of scale this and maybe extrude that, and it looks almost like a window, a tall window at like a schoolhouse or a library or something like that. So if you make bad knife cuts, take a moment, consider dissolving those lines, but otherwise consider just straightening, giving them a little bit of a straighter edge if that's what you're after. The next issue we're going to solve is this deleted face up above. There is a frequent chance that you may select some polys and delete them, and then, oh no, I want to repair this area. Or let's say it got so damaged that the only option was to delete and rebuild. One of the options for rebuilding is called the bridge tool, and it's available with faces, it's available with edges as well. This is a case where I want one single polygon to fill that hole, and selecting the two neighboring edges, right-clicking, and choosing Bridge Edge Loops will fill that hole pretty nicely. So that one's quite a quick solve. I could do, whoops, excuse me, that hotkey always tricks me there. So we could do that, let's say we remove this window, we could do that with the edge loops there. There's also a bridge tool for polygons, so if you get a long string of polygons and want to connect two faces together, you can do that as well. But it's a pretty quick solve to simply grab those two edges, right click, and choose Bridge Edge Loops, and that will fill in that missing polygon hole. Our last little disaster here that we're going to solve is this really wily bevel. And for that one, I'm going to come down here to that area with face mode enabled. And I'm going to grab these faces, and I'm going to attempt a few different methods of cleanup. The first method is just trying to dissolve those faces. Perhaps Blender will do the best job of cleaning this up for us. Right click, dissolve faces. Doing that certainly got it a little bit cleaner, though not completely clean. It took care of the beveled area, but the line here is still, pretty rough, as you can see. At this point, we can select that edge, move on the y-axis, and get it pretty close. Close enough to the point where I may be able to shift click with the edge loop technique, and might not be necessary, but maybe a little bit of scaling will tighten that line up. Not too bad. Now we really don't need this line in there after all, but it looks okay. We're trying to keep quads where we can. We don't want any kind of irregular rectangles there. So pretty well cleaned up. We got our edges cleaned up, we got that face restored, and we got rid of that nasty bevel just by using some tools like dissolve edges and bridges.